As you guys can see, another rain day is upon us, so let's take this opportunity and go do a little work on old Lieutenant Dan. All right, unfortunately, as of right now, I am home alone. Let's party. What do you say? For you guys that don't know, Aaron, aka man behind the scenes, or almost dirt perfect, or the man with 100 names, I don't know. He's actually a Boilermaker by trade. That is his real day-to-day job, but they kind of work a little bit seasonal, so he's laid off quite a bit, which hence why he's able to help me. But unfortunately, he got called in on an emergency outage last night, so he is not with us. Mr. Millennial may be here in a little bit, but here is the plan. Here's the next step. The last video you guys seen on this, we got the bed set. Man, let's just take a second and admire it. Yeah, she still looks good sitting up there. But the problem is, it's just sitting there. It don't dump. So basically, technically, we've got a flatbed. We need to make a dump truck out of it. So, first step in that process is we need to get the hydraulic pump mounted to the transmission. And the kit we bought for the bed comes with a hydraulic pump, but it does not come with a PTO. There's a good reason for that. That pump will mount to just about any PTO, but the PTO is the piece that can vary depending on the transmission you have, whether it's a Ford transmission, a Mack transmission, a Road Ranger transmission, an Allison transmission, and then amongst all those transmissions, what model you have. So basically what we need to do is go underneath the truck, pull the PTO stands for power takeoff, pull the PTO plate off the transmission, cross our fingers, say a little prayer, and hope this transmission's got the PTO drive gear in it, because if it don't, that's gonna be a bummer. We're gonna pull the transmission out of this thing. Most of these older transmissions do have that gear in them, but this transmission's not original to that truck, so I really don't know. And the guy that put the transmission in it was intending on using it as a road tractor, which normally they don't need wet kits unless it's like my semi hauling a lowboy or something, or a dump truck. I guess they use wet kits. So anyways, let's just hope. Let's hope it's got the PTO gear in it. So we'll jump underneath there. Let's get that figured out first, because basically I need to get the model and serial number off the transmission. I need to confirm it's got the PTO gear in it. And then we may have to make a trip back down to CTC to visit my buddy Scott. They will take all those numbers, mesh them up, and spit us out a PTO. Hopefully they got it in stock. From there, we need to get the hydraulic tank mounted. Oh, that's gonna be a whole nother ordeal. Let's hop underneath and see where we're at on this PTO gear. First things first, we need to drain some oil out of the transmission. All right, down here on the bottom side, guys. Man, I'm getting sidetracked here. Look at that paint job. Don't she look slick even for the bottom side? It's a shame. It's a shame it just won't stay that way forever, but at least it looks good for now. Anyways, sidetrack. So this cover right here is where our PTO will mount. And I've already see one potential little issue that has to do with this crossbar. I'm not 100% for sure our PTO is gonna it may interfere with this. I think it may come down far enough it may hit the top of this. Just eyeballing it here, I think we can do a few things to make it miss. I think we can flip it around and possibly mount it on the back side here. It'll still miss the spring. And I think that'll give us just enough room to where it might miss the PTO there. But I'm not gonna mess with that until we get our PTO up there and kind of confirm it's an interference issue, and then we'll go from there. But first things first, we need to drain the oil out of this thing. And that is done with this plug right here, which I've already got loose, but let me tell you, it is a long ways to that drain pan down there. Let's see if we can do this without getting an oil bath. Hold on, let me get resituated. Where's the man behind the scenes when you need him? He never minds an oil bath. All right, here we go. Come on, baby. Look at that oil though, man. That's some good looking oil. That oil looks brand new. What do you think, Deke? He's thinking my poles are dirty. All right, let's let that drain down. We'll pop this plate off and see what's underneath door number 1. All right, let's see what we got behind door number 1. More oil. And a gasket. Guess what I think I see? I think I see a PTO drive gear. All right, so the good news is we do have a PTO drive gear. This is the PTO drive gear right here. That's the input shaft gear. I believe that would be 3rd gear right there. I got a whole video on rebuilding one of these transmissions in the Mac, and you guys go back and watch it. It went perfectly smooth, no issues whatsoever. But in some of the later transmissions and over the road trucks, they left this gear out for rotating mass and weight reasons. But the good news is we have it. The bad news is, if you guys look over here, this is a reman transmission, and whenever I went to clean the tag off, all the information on the transmission got wiped away, which is not good. But then I had a thought, I had a memory, and let me show you. I remember when I bought this truck, it had the information wrote on the back of it. If you guys look right there in my old video, it says RTX 14708LL. So the RTX is the top cover, the 14 is the torque rating of the transmission, the 7 is the style of output shaft it has, the 08 is the number of gears, and the LL is the low. So basically, in simple terms, it's a 1400 torque range transmission, 8LL Eaton Fuller transmission. So with that information, the pump we have is a 13 spline 7/8 shaft. We now know which transmission it's going on. We also know we have a PTO gear in the transmission. So I gave our buddy Scott down at CTC a call, and he's going to try to round us up. He's going to try to round us up a part takeoff. So hopefully he'll come up with that, and we'll get to go visit him. In the meantime, we got to figure out what we're going to do for a hydraulic tank. And Big Bird showed up.
Little Bird.
Little Bird.
Little Bird. Yeah, some guy sold me a Jeep and said, best Jeep I've ever owned, I'd buy it back, you know. Sellers.
I'll buy it back right now, $4 grand.
And then you know what next happened? My wife broke it.
That's a whole other video on a whole other channel. So, yeah, apparently he don't have a clutch no more.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
My clutch works fine over here.
No, it doesn't. You're gonna take it apart, right?
No, it's good. So, anyways, let's figure out this hydraulic tank issue. All right, next project is hydraulic tank mounting location, decisions. So, this kit come with a 28-gallon hydraulic tank right here. That's basically what they call a side mount. I wish I would have paid attention to the spec sheet a little bit more. I probably would have ordered a different style tank. I probably would have ordered what they call a doghouse tank, which actually fits right in there where the cylinder's at, but that's my bad. I missed that on the spec sheet, but I'm not even for sure I would have used that. I think we're gonna go a totally different route on this. I'm not overly thrilled about putting the side mount tank on it. There's not quite enough room on this side to do it with the tire. It would fit, but stuff's gonna start to get a little bit crowded. The more logical place for it to go would have been over here on this side, but I don't want to gobble this space up because I'm still not convinced we don't want to put some sort of toolbox on there. But we have all this space in here that's not being used, so I'm thinking we can utilize some of that. The plan is, this here is a tank off a dump truck I bought for parts years ago. I've been storing, wondering why I kept it around, and I think I may have figured out why. So, here's the thing. This tank is 40 inches tall. If we mount that tank in there, 40 inches tall, it's gonna block part of that back window. I do not want to lose visibility out that back window. I don't want to have interference right there. Keep in mind, we need roughly 28 gallons of fluid for this system. So if I do some math here, this is a 40-inch by 40-inch by 6-inch tank, which is 9,600 cubic inches, which basically means this tank is 41 gallon, 41.28 if you want to be exact. Now, in theory, if we go and cut 10 inches out of this tank, we got a 40-inch tank, 30 inches tall, 6 inches wide, which is 7,200 cubic inches, which is 30.96 gallons. Let's call it 31 gallons. So I think that's what we're going to do. I asked Aaron if we can weld this tank back together without it leaking. His exact words were, if it leaks, it won't be where I welded it. I guess we're going to have to take him up on that. So I believe what we're going to do is we're going to use this old tank. I'm going to basically cut 8 inches out of it, or 10 inches out of it. We're going to lower the top down, which should allow it to fit in that headache rack rather nicely. And we're going to go that route. So let's get the marking and get the cutting. Well, check that out. We officially have a tank that's lost about 10 inches. Had a little, I call it a splash guard or slosh guard there in the middle. Had to take the torch and just kind of trim him up there a little bit. Obviously, we need to get the inside of the tank cleaned out real good before we weld this back up. But basically, whenever man behind the scenes gets back here, that is warped from the heat of cutting it. But that will, that'll go back down on there pretty easy. And he should be able to run a bead around the top. Weld her off and she'll be as good as new. 10 inches shorter and what, 10 gallon less, somewhere in there. I guess I could have thought about that. It would have been like an inch per gallon of height. I think that works out. So what we're gonna do now is, since we got that tank somewhat set up in there, we're eventually gonna need to pull these stacks off so we can get all that stuff permanently mounted in there. And I think that's gonna be a lot easier to do outside the truck. But before I do that, I want to get a cross member in up there to do a couple different things. One, I want to put some grating in to protect that back window. And I need something to mount some lights and stuff on up there. So I don't know for sure what I'm going to do, what I'm going to use yet, or how I'm going to go about doing that, or even where I'm going to put it at. But let's crawl up here and take a look. All right, guys, we have made it topside. I just want to point out, did you guys just see that exhaust just barely sneaking over the top of that headache rack there? I'm liking it. The more I know, whenever we set the bed on here, if you go back and watch that video, I was a little bit unsure about it, but I'm kind of liking the little sneak approach right there. Everything's working out. I think it's gonna be all right. I think it's gonna be all right. I like it. Look, it's lined up just perfect with the bed. I think for not having the bed here and building off a spec sheet, I think it's gonna work out pretty good. So what I've kind of got in mind, I can barely see over the headache rack here, is whenever we ordered this, we didn't order it with a headache rack on it because I wanted my exhaust to come up through here and I wanted to do a few different options here. So I think what we're going to do is, probably now that we see this, is right here where the stack changes its angle at, we're going to weld something across there from side to side. I'm probably going to set some sort of light up here. I wanted to stick up just above this a little bit, hold on, before you comment, hold on. I want one of those thin ones like we have on the Mac. I wanted to stick up here above that just a little bit so you can see it from behind, because this is gonna be more than a dump truck, guys. This will be a lowboy truck from time to time, pulling Plan B, moving equipment. And we do work on the side of the road somewhat regular. So I do want a light that's visible from the back. So my plan is to use one of the thin ones, and we're probably gonna build some sort of rebar cage or some sort of protective top over it. That way if we're loading brush or a rock bounces or something, it's somewhat protected. It may not be the ideal scenario. That may be a huge fail. I don't know, but I think that's what we're gonna go with for now. I just think it'd look cool up there. I think it'd be a little bit different from what most trucks look like. I still have some concerns about how we're gonna get the tarp mounted in here. I'm hoping we can get the tarp mounted in here somewhere. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. So I think at this point, now that I've kind of come up here, I've eyeballed it, I've seen what we need to see. They just called. The PTO has been delivered already down at CTC. I just called them this morning. They've already got one in stock, or they've got one in stock that'll work. So I'm gonna run down there and pick up the PTO so we can get that on the transmission. I think after I get back from there, we'll probably go ahead and pull the stacks off the truck and set them back on the ground over here. That way we can get this top bar welded in, and we can get the tank welded up and mounted into it. From there, we need to raise this bed up as far as we can. We'll probably have to do it with the crane because there's a valve body that needs to be mounted underneath it. So I'm gonna answer the phone, head to CTC. All right, we just rolled back into CTC here. Go inside, see if we can see Scott and the boys and get us a PTO. All right, guys, we rolled back into CNC. Look who I found. You're like the internet driveline god now.
Am I?
You are.
Thanks to you guys.
Well, hey, the drive shaft fit in the truck. It worked great. I don't know if you guys watched the video, but everybody says my carrier bearing is going to fail.
It is. Well, that's what I was trying to tell you before. With that long shaft, and then we have that.
But I have no concerns. I think we're good.
I think it is too.
We'll get it.
I believe it will hold.
Hopefully, we're down here. I had to get me a new PTO. We got to get the dump bed hooked up.
For sure.
We've been busy, Scott, but we're going to get this truck on the road. It's going to be good to go. So I can't thank you guys and everybody here enough, man. That was an awesome video and an awesome experience.
Yes,
so
it was, man.
all right.
I'm looking at you instead of the
now look, this guy wants money.
Right here,
this guy wants money.
No,
so
we couldn't have did it without you, though.
All right. Well, thanks for everything, Scott. We appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
All right, as you guys can see out there, we got maybe you can see out there. Somebody needs to clean that window.
What were you gonna say? Maybe you can see, maybe you can't.
Well, I was gonna say, as you can see out there, it's rained a little bit, so we're back in the shop. But the window is so dirty you can't see out the window.
We were this close to finishing the job. Oh, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain.
It did rain here. It's hot out there in the shop's air conditioning.
Oh, that's true.
You still want to argue?
Well, hey, I can argue that, but you were sitting in the AC cab.
This is true. So anyway, ignore him for a second. We have got the new PTO from the CTC. I'm going to put that on here in a second. As you guys see in the first half of this video, I used my amazing laser cutting skills and sliced this hydraulic tank in half. You gonna tell everybody how good a job I did?
I'm pretty sure they could see it on camera.
Now wait a minute. That warped itself. It was straight. Yeah. The cut is straight. The cut is straight. Let's look at this one. Don't that look a little bit closer? Look at that.
After I cleaned it up, yeah,
look at that.
It's pretty good.
You didn't clean it up, you just cut the paint back.
Cleaned all that up. It looks good now, yes. It looks good.
Glad you put your touches on. All right, so what's the plan here, man, behind the scenes?
Plan is we're gonna flip this thing so I can finish cleaning up on the bottom.
And then we can clean the inside out.
And then all this slag here needs cleaned off. Then we'll blow it out. And then you can wipe it out. I can't reach all the way back, so somebody with longer arms is gonna have to clean that out.
That's how it works, huh?
Advantage of having T-Rex arms.
that's how this is gonna go down.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's flip it over to the other side, then we'll paper rock scissors for the other part.
All right, I mean, if you want stuff left in there, I'll do it.
Which way you going?
Now, I don't know, it's better to just flip it. Let's flip it that way.
I want to go this way.
I don't like that way. I think it'll look better this way.
Let's go all the way around, and then let's talk about it.
Okay. We'll play
If we
around
flip
the
it
road.
this way, there's a chance stuff will fall out as we do.
That is true.
Thank you.
Then we got to flip it, and then we got to keep flipping.
We're gonna have to keep flipping either way we go. Why are you arguing with me? 1, 2, I'm not ready.
Hey, I got an idea. Once we stand up, you're gonna get a little rubber mallet and tap. That'll help knock some of that stuff out.
Just flip it. He's heavier to look. Alright. Beating the bass drum.
Hey, it won't work for a hydraulic tank, it'll work for a drum. Alright, ready?
Yeah, there is some stuff that come out of there. Alright, finish cleaning her up. Glad to see you're back in your prison, giddy up there.
I don't know where my handcuffs are. Broke out of them.
You know, the hat. The hat's what makes it. I mean,
Hey, that's right.
that's how I feel like you're walking around most
I
of the time.
want to dress like you act.
Now
So
you're dressed
we're a great team.
in the proper equipment to wipe this out.
But my arms ain't long enough. Would you like the jumpsuit?
I will not fit in your jumpsuit, I promise you.
All right. Now what I need to do is I need you to reach all the way back there in the
I
back.
don't even know if I can even reach all the way to the back.
You gotta wipe the back off too. Not just the bottom. You gotta wipe that whole thing down.
I can't. We might have to get a stick.
See?
It's not very often I can't get deep enough. Oh, I'm touching it.
There you
I found
go.
out. That's a familiar feeling. That's dirty.
Yeah. Now you want that in your oil?
No, that's what filters are for.
Well, plan on changing that filter after a couple hours.
You know, we could just split it all up and then go slosh it around with something. That would work, right?
No. This is more fun right here.
Well, for the guy holding the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, we may have to roll it over to get the upper side. There. That passed inspection, boss?
Well, you got another side to
Well,
do.
I'm going. I was going to switch you sides there.
I was going to do it, but see, I reached in already and knew I couldn't reach it, so.
You probably really can't reach it. That's probably
I know
not
I
the
can't.
stroke.
Have I ever lied?
Yes. And I'm sure I've got video evidence of it. Shh. She's here.
Hello.
We were just talking about how deep I can get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty deep.
You're gonna be a deep if you don't come out and take this trash because the dog's trying to get it.
Oh.
I gotta go. Here you go.
He can reach farther than I can.
Oh yeah.
She's even laughing at me.
Hey!
You guys are
I'm talking about this.
later.
I just enjoy filming him doing something.
I know, right?
I love it.
Everybody else do it all the time.
Oh, she knows you pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Flip it over. Do the other side. All right. No help to man behind the scenes. We got the inside of the tank. Spotless. Perfectly clean. One thing that was on there before was this little level indicator. And this was the lower hole. The upper hole was on top of the tank. So we're going to rotate this around. Drilled a new hole right there. We just got to tack weld the new nut inside the tank. Whenever I say we, that is mostly him. Or,
Very lucky.
why is that?
Remember I told you to shut the argon off the last time?
Yeah.
You never shut it off. It was on yet. So it's been on for how long and ain't leaked out?
It wasn't me.
That is incredible.
It was him. Who you guys gonna believe? The guy in an orange jumpsuit or me? All right, while he's tacking that off, I'm gonna clean the lid up. We're gonna have to find a way to get that on there. Aaron's got our nuts tacked off in there. This video's going a bad direction.
Yeah.
You're a bad influence on my videos. So whenever I cut this off, as you guys can see, that piece there warped just a little bit for whatever reason. It's kind of what metal does. So I think
Too much heat. Explain it.
Huh?
Cutting it, got it hot, that's what warped.
Well, if you would go back and watch the video, you'll realize that I created no heat cutting it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Look at him looking around.
I'm looking to see what you used, and I'm not seeing what you got.
It's still sitting over there.
Oh, man, that's the worst tool.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It didn't matter what tool was sitting over there. That was going to be the worst tool. That is a laser edge cut.
After I cleaned it up, yes.
You didn't do anything.
Did you film me? No, you missed the beginning whenever I was cleaning it up. Where were you at?
Working.
Eating a candy bar up your desk or up your office chair?
All right, so here's the plan, people. Is we're going to set this thing on the ground to hopefully where I got enough body weight to hold that down while you tack it in place. Should be a flawless plan, right?
Oh, crap. All right, Firewatch.
God damn,
Put the rag there. I didn't have a rag. I didn't clean the tank out.
you didn't
Yeah.
get a Firewatch. I thought the light was getting hot.
I should have let it burn. Time lapse can still see fire. We will go over this in the video.
Oh, yeah?
Who had the rags out.
Right.
Yeah. All right, hopefully, that's what I'm scared of. Here's what I did. I beat that down and I shook it.
Man, oh man, look at the cut guy. He did you a favor. Look at that precision. I mean, that
Oh,
is...
precision.
Yes.
We're looking at the good side.
I still can't take you serious with your hat. I just can't do it.
Hey, my outfit matches your...
I'm not saying it was perfect, but I never claimed to be metal perfect. I'm saying it was pretty close.
It's pretty cool. It was
Oh,
almost.
you almost said it. You almost said it. Almost slipped up.
You're almost metal perfect.
Like you're almost dirt perfect. All right, we're gonna let Aaron run a bead around that thing, weld it up. He promises to warranty it and it's not gonna leak. So while he's doing that, we're gonna go start working on the PTO stuff, and we're gonna hope the PTO misses that cross member we talked about earlier. But to put the PTO on, there's a couple studs that go in there, which makes it easier to put on. So we gotta drop down, put those up in the transmission, and then hopefully the PTO will miss the cross member. Have fun.
All right.
So on these PTOs, there's two bolts right here that are really hard to get in. Really hard to get in, so we're going to put studs in there. It makes it a lot easier to get a nut on because it's almost impossible to get a bolt started up in there. I'll show you guys here in a little bit, but the rest of them we can get bolts in pretty easy. You need to clean that gasket off there. Slowly but surely, but got a little bit of blue Loctite on them. Let me run them up in there and we'll see if that PTO fits. All right, got our 2 studs in there. I think what I'm gonna do at this point, before we go full committal on this thing, I'm gonna do a little test fit up there. Make sure we can clear this cross member before I put the gasket on it and start shimming it to get our clearances right. So let me grab it, we'll see if she fits. There we go. Well, there's your answer. It don't fit. Well, hopefully you guys can see from that angle, it is not going to fit. It's going to interfere with this just like we thought. I think I can unbolt it, turn it around the other way, and bolt it on this side. It should gain us just enough room to make it work. So let's see if we can get these broke loose and get that bar out of there, I guess. Well, with that bar out of the way, we have absolutely all kinds of room now. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that PTO up there, and then we'll see if we can find a combination that will allow that bar to fit back in there. That bar was loose. I'm sure it's important, but I don't think it was doing a whole lot. Try this again. There we go. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. All right, we got her bolted up there. You guys can see right there and there is why we put the studs right there. That's you can't get a bolt in this one. It's impossible to get a bolt in that one. And once the pump's on, that one becomes very difficult to get to. The other thing we got to check, let me get laid down here. The other thing we got to check now we've got it all bolted up is we need to know how much clearance we have. We're supposed to have 6 to 12 thousandths of clearance between this gear and the gear up in the transmission. And I'm not going to put a dial indicator on it. I've put enough of these on to kind of know what they're supposed to feel like. This one is close. It's probably 5 or 6 thousandths. If I had another shim to shim that down to increase that gap, I probably would. I don't have another shim, and there is clearance there, so we're probably going to let it ride. That's as far as I'm going to be able to go on this here this evening. Gonna have to call it a night. Got a few other things I need to do. Man behind the scenes has already skipped out on me, but I do want to show you the tank. He got the tank all welded up, and man, it looks better now than what it did before we cut her apart. Got our holes there on the side for our gauge. Pretty slick, pretty doggone slick. So anyways, hopefully tomorrow evening when I get home, we can finish getting that PTO mounted and getting the pump. But it's got the bolts up there tight. I need to torque them. Now that I know my clearance is good, I wasn't for sure if I was going to have to take it off again to add a shim, but I think we're going to be able to make it. Get the pump mounted and get a plan from there. So I guess stick with me till tomorrow. All right, back for another evening on Lieutenant Dan. I got little man with me this evening. Is that all you got to say? All right, so last time we were here, we got all this tightened up, torqued down. We make sure we got our clearances up there. It's good. So now we got to get the shift cover back on this side. I don't know if you guys can see, there's a gear right here. It's got a groove in it. See if I can turn that. It's not one to lock in right now. So that groove right there is what accepts this thing right here in the shift cover. Trying to hold this up here. This thing here slides back and forth with air pressure. That's what engages and disengages the PTO. So I need to get a gasket on this thing, and then that there will slide right in there like so. Let me free up some hands and we'll make her happen. All right, you got a point where everybody can see?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes. It's facing right at the red thing, whatever it's called.
All right, let's see if we can get a bolt started here now. Need longer arms. Oops. That one started. Hey, we're getting somewhere now. What'd you do with the other 2 bolts?
Here's one.
You got one?
I think this one.
Nope, need a little one like this. See this one?
I don't know where they went.
Need one more, just like that.
Camera went black
Oh, there
again.
it is, I found it.
Camera went black again.
The back on?
Yes.
Alright, we're gonna tighten it down. It's the wrong side. Now we're gonna tighten it down.
Why couldn't you just hold the camera right here?
Because I got you. Alright, we'll check in with the torque wrench. And I think we're good. You know what's next?
What?
It's time to mount the pump.
Great.
I don't think you're even big enough to lift it.
Where is it?
It's up there on the steps.
Oh, those steps?
Yep.
Oh.
Alright, here is our pump that come with our bed kit. This is what they call a direct mount pump. So basically this pump mounts directly to our PTO, and this has got a seal in it and that's got a seal in it, but for some reason they provide a gasket to go between the 2 of them. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but I guess we'll be good people and install it for the heck of it. But I probably should have checked and made sure they 2 spline together before I mounted the PTO, but I'm pretty confident they will. But one thing I do know for sure is this thing is not light. So let's see if we can get it up there and make her fit. Do a little dirt perfect pump press here. Hope she fits. Better yet, hope we don't drop it. Going up. Oh, get out of my hand. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. Like a glove. Get some bolts started in this thing before it eats our lunch. Isn't that just a thing of beauty? She is all bolted up there tight and looks good. You guys see these hanging down here? These are actually for an old PTO. So this thing had some sort of PTO on it before. Need to chase down those lines and see if we can reuse them. But before I go any farther, I am curious to see if we can turn this thing around the other way and make it clear up here. Let me get backed up in here a little bit. Hold on a second. Oh, hang on, light. So I'm thinking we can take this thing. Yeah, see that? Just put it on the other side. Put it on the other side and look at all the clearance we got right there. You guys see that? Let's go ahead and get that bolted back in before we forget. Alright, so we got the cross member reinstalled, got all our clearances up, everything's good. The last thing we need to do is secure the back of this pump. It's got 2 studs that come out of the back of it. And basically I've made 2 little metal brackets. Before I installed the pump, I actually pre-made these. I didn't record it at the time, so I was kind of in a hurry. But basically this plate comes down, catches the 2 studs. I profiled this plate to match where we catch 2 bolts here on the bottom of the transmission with the back box bolts on. Put a slight little bend in this one, which I'll show you in a minute when we get it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tack these 2 together right here. My welder, Mr. Man behind the scenes, he is not here with us right now, so I'm going to have to step up my game and do a little welding. So I will tack that off. We'll pull everything out. That way everything's aligned. I found out over the years it's so much easier just to make these in 2 pieces. Get this to match up, get that to match up, tack these off, put them on the bench and weld them. And then when you go back, it should all work. So let's get that tacked off. We'll get the bracket out of here and then we'll weld it up. Well, there's the beautiful bracket outside the truck here in the daylight. Never claimed to be no man behind the scenes, but I think that weld. Oh, what? Come on now. Oh. Hold on a second. All right, try this again. Bracket is nothing special, weld is nothing beautiful, but it should be very, very effective in the job it is designed to do. A lot of people don't even put these brackets on, but that's a lot of weight hanging off that PTO, especially this thing's going to be an off-road vehicle. Should be bouncing around and probably doing some stuff that's a little bit rougher than a normal dump truck, but I don't look too shabby. Let's let that dry, and then we'll hope she fits back in the truck. I'll take it. Check out that jewel. That is a custom fabricated thing of beauty. It really don't matter how it looks. The question is, how does it fit? So, under the truck we go. All right, come on, baby. Don't let me down now. Which way does it go? Goes this way. Goes on there. Nope. Goes this way. Oh, that's looking good. That is looking good. Come on. Perfect. Well, unfortunately, guys, I think that's where we're going to have to wrap this one up. Over the course of the last week, we got our hydraulic tank resized and ready to mount. We got our PTO mounted, our pump mounted, our bracket on. We should be good to go. Where do we go from here? Most likely in the next video, we need to get the hydraulic tank mounted to the exhaust system. It's going to sit right here in this area, some way, shape, or form. We need to get the bed cut loose. They got these little temporary tabs on there. Get it raised up. There's actually a valve. We gotta get that valve in there. Once we get the tank mounted and the valve mounted, we've already got the pump mounted, we can figure out all of our plumbing and all that good stuff. This is trying to work on this thing when I can right now in the evenings, getting done what I can. But my goal, what I'm hoping, I don't want to overpromise anything, but what I really want to do is I'm hoping this winter, guys, we can hit this thing pretty hard. I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping she's ready to go at the beginning of the 2022 dirt season. We'll see how that goes. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, if you don't care to give it a thumbs up, definitely helps the channel. If you want to subscribe so you don't miss any of the other awesome videos coming on this particular project or any of our jobs, go ahead and do that. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed, and we shall catch you on the next one.